Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Magic and Miracles, where you learn how to be the magician of your life. My name is Anna, and I'm your most favorite manifestation coach under the sun. Reason why there's no such coaching program like my coaching program, and no coach under the sun will ever spend as much time as I do with my clients. 2 to 3 times per week, I rendezvous with all of my clients, whether that's on a Zoom session or over a telephone. I have two different packages. Essentially, one is a standard package, 2 to 3 times per week, like I said. Between Zoom sessions and phone calls is the choice that you have, or a combination of both. And the deluxe package, which includes 3 mandatory sessions, as well as email access, text access to me in between, as well as audio messages if you really need it. This is for somebody who's going through a lot right now and who needs that kind of hand holding. So I want to be able to offer this to you. I do recommend 2 to 3 months in coaching with me in order for me to be able to cover my coaching program. This is on average what it takes in my coaching for someone to really understand what they're doing. In order for me to be able to cover your history first, this is what I start with. Go through your beliefs, change them, relinquish the emotionality behind certain things that you've lived through, which is really important, the center of my coaching. And then, and only then, embark on this journey of manifesting different things that you want to manifest, whether that's SP, money, healing, what have you. Okay. Now, as an entry-level coaching, a month and a half ago, I started offering monthly audio subscription. What that is essentially all the material that I was going to put into my book, and eventually I will, probably several books. All the channeled material, very educational, deeply instructive. Also containing information that I only share in one-on-one coaching. And again, it goes into depth. This is material that I've never recorded for my channel and never will. Again, this was going to go into my book and eventually will. Right now, you can get the subscription for a month for $450, which is extraordinarily underpriced. I will definitely raise the price. You can lock that in, lock that price in for a year. Okay, this is how generous I want to be with all of my subscribers and clients, because for sure within a month's time I will increase it and continue increasing it. Because just the amount of information you get, it's just like you have a coach in a pocket. Okay. Then you have the video school that goes through the steps of my coaching. Is just a one-off 1 month package. The audios, however, you can renew, like I said, for a year or maybe years. All right. As long as I'll be channeling, I'll be doing those. All right. And I have other packages for seminars of a group of 5, group of 10. It's an all-dayer. We can discuss when you book what your objectives are. I usually go over my coaching program, but you can also customize that. All right. If you have any questions before booking, do reach out. Alternatively, you can just book an hour and then I can apply that hour towards the monthly coaching. And in that hour, we can discuss what your objectives are in coaching, as well as any questions that you might have. So I'm really inspired tonight. I already recorded one audio for my channel today, but when I'm inspired, I'd rather record than not because me channeling, it just comes in a moment. I better grab my phone and go for it. So there's this question that continuously keeps coming up in my coaching, as well as in my emails. Okay, so I always get emails, and this is from the series of the questions from my mailbox, because like I said, I no longer record deeply educational content from my channel, hence the monthly audios. But the question is really, as broad as it may sound, it will make sense to you. And I'm going to try to say everything that I want to say. And channel this message. The question is how to become a master manifestor. So again, as broad of a question as this may sound, okay, I think the idea to understand first things first, you really need to resonate, okay, with the understanding that anything that is out there available, okay, it needs to be kind of filtered through the prism of your resonance. In other words, there's a lot of bullshit out there, okay? So not all teachings are equal. Okay, there are a lot of people like the copycat, okay, that we pointed out many times on this channel, who is just a cookie cut person who copies people, okay? There are lots of these people like that out there who simply regurgitate certain people's teachings, like Neville Goddard till the end of time, which I do not, for the life of me, do not understand what kind of a teacher you are if you're just simply regurgitating somebody else's teachings verbatim and true. You know, most people give him credit. I mean, how can you not? It's kind of like really famous, but if you're not adding anything of your own, I myself personally, I really don't understand why you would bother to create a channel, because we already know everything there is about Neville Goddard. So there are those people, and some of them are really, you know, like well-meaning and everything, but some of them are really kind of like don't even get it and get into the game simply because, again, the money, the prestige of being a coach, this and that. I think my point is that you really need to resonate with the teaching. It needs to be straightforward, okay? It cannot be like, let's just say, Abraham Hicks, who I completely do not get. I don't think she's channeling at all. I think if a message is channeled, it's a pretty straightforward fucking message. It doesn't go around in circles. And several times I have tried to give her a chance in my own journey of metaphysical education. And I just couldn't, I mean, I was dizzy by the time she got done talking. And so for me, it just has to really be straight to the point. If it's too confusing, it probably the teacher themselves doesn't even know what the fuck they're talking about. In other words, if at any point you're fucking confused by what the person is saying, the person themselves is probably fucking even more confused, okay, than you are. And I think that it needs to really make practical sense. So in my journey, again, you know, I studied metaphysics, quantum physics, you know, all these things about this universe being holographic, etc., etc. And that is really, really interesting, okay? It is. You need to be well-rounded, in my opinion, okay? At the very least, if you want to be a coach, you need to understand all aspects of it. So that's great. But the thing is, how do you then put those principles into practicality? Like, that's great that the universe is holographic, but how does that fucking serve me in my everyday life? Like, what kind of like benefit do I derive from that? And how can I, you know, implement this? And so it needs to be pretty clear to you, especially when you're hiring a coach, right? So again, it really needs to click in with you that this, you know, not just because you know you like them, the way that they look and all this stuff, but their teachings on their own, standalone teachings, not regurgitating somebody till the end of motherfucking time, okay? But actually their point of view needs to be what you resonate with, okay? And again, I myself, having gone through all sorts of books and having heard all sorts of teachings, in my opinion, there's only a handful of people out there that truly get it, and you will recognize that by what I just said. They themselves have an opinion, a point of view, a valid point of view that makes sense, that is coming from their own kind of understanding how to present this, not somebody else's borrowed and again regurgitated till the end of time. Okay, so that's really important. And why am I saying all this? Because when you're, again, filtering through the material that is available out there, you really need to be discerning. What resonates towards me? What do I choose to incorporate into my own personal practice? And what simply doesn't make any fucking sense? Okay, like for example, tarot readers makes no sense to me. Okay, so if you're buying into the idea of creating your reality, then why would you give away your power to tarot readers? Okay, to me, it's different than, going in with a certain intention just to prove your point that you're creating your reality and you're going to hear what you want to hear. That's different. But to give away your power to a tarot reader, I mean, that's kind of fucking stupid. Okay, so and then reacting to that and all this kind of fucking jazz, right? Whereas you can create whatever you want to create with your own mind, with your own abilities, and however you get there. Listen, I've discussed it on my channel like ad nauseum. You guys all know what I'm going to say next. I think you do. Whether that's smelling the roses, whether that's lighting the incense, whether that's simply taking a bubble bath and smelling good and going to a spa, or go getting your pedicures and manicures, whatever the fuck makes you happy. Okay, get into that zone and fucking create magic and miracles. Now, having said all this, I want to point out something really, really profound. And it's not just because I happen to be a coach. No, it's not. Because let me tell you something. 15 years ago, I myself was looking for a coach and couldn't find one that resonated with me for the life of me. And listen, I've searched high and low. Like literally, I've stumbled upon a celebrity coach. Okay, very expensive one. Okay, and still the energy wasn't there, still didn't resonate with me, etc. And so why I'm saying all this is because it doesn't really matter. Okay, if you happen to be in the position of listening to my audio right now, you're looking for help. And the help is not found in never-ending videos. And I've said this many times on my channel, because it's true. At the end of the day, it's not about learning about manifestation. It's not about necessarily learning all the techniques, etc. It's about learning yourself. And for that, you do need a competent coach that resonates with you. I cannot tell you how many clients came to me, especially from YouTube, telling me, Anna, I've been learning manifestation for X amount of years, this amount of years, that amount of years, blah, 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 and I've gotten nowhere. So it isn't about learning manifestation. It's about learning how you apply manifestation, your individual case. And again, for that, you do need a competent coach who resonates with you and who's going to understand and genuinely take interest in you and genuinely provide support for you that you need, with your needs in mind. Can't stress it enough. So in other words, the cookie cut regurgitation of Neville fucking Goddard, excuse me, but I've like grown to not like him anymore. All right, I mean, I do respect his teachings. It isn't that. It's just obnoxious till the end of time how many people regurgitate him and think that they're providing a service. It takes a very kind of savvy take on coaching rather than applying a cookie cut situation. It needs to be custom made. All right, tailored to your specific needs. And in my coaching, I mean, not to brag, but I'm just saying I've done my research. This is why I can talk about it. I coach people on all sorts of things. Okay, people quit jobs in my, very responsibly, by the way, in my coaching, start businesses. Okay, I don't just coach on SPs, even though, yes, I have a lot of videos on SPs on my channel, but that's not even, in the vicinity of being the only subject that I coach on. Health, okay, money, self-esteem, I mean, you name it, all aspects of life, because you're made of all aspects. So if you're coaching in a certain department, understand that it's all coming from you and you consist of different ideas, different areas, okay, that you really need to address. And all of them require self-examination. Again, you go back to self-examination. What do I need to correct in my point of view? And in my experience, this is why I say 2 to 3 times, 2 to 3 months rather, is what's needed in coaching, because, it's like this. first of all, again, everybody comes in and says, well, I've already kind of worked on my beliefs. This is my favorite, by the way. People thinking that they're working on their beliefs simply by watching videos. Okay. Uh, Please, doesn't exist. I've already studied manifestation. Let's just get to the fun part where I get to manifest my SP. And then on month 2, they realize that there's so much more that they did not address. And finally, the truth starts revealing itself to them through talking, through their history, through addressing actual issues, not the fucking SP. Because like I say in almost all of my audios on my channel, SP my fucking ass. It's the least of your worries. Because, so many times my clients have had this aha moment like, oh, now I get it why you say SP is the least of your worries. Because truly, that's the case. It's all about me. It's about what I create, how I create it. It's about me. It's about the resonance of my energy. Because you created with your own energy. Everything around you, even the SP is made up of your energy. So how on earth are you supposed to manifest your SP back if your energy doesn't change? If you're not becoming the person that you really want? And again, parenthesis here. Listen, I will teach you every trick in quotations, by the way, in my coaching, and teach you everything that I know and everything that's helped so many different people in my coaching. However, if you don't apply them and if you do nothing about it, I cannot do your push-ups for you. That's just, don't wait for it. This is not the kind of situation, again, hate to, kind of like gang up on Neville Goddard, but, it's not that kind of situation where it's like Neville would say, oh yeah, I will hear this for you and that's it. And you can just chill and relax and go home. That's very nice and sweet and kind of Santa Clausy, but the reality of things is that like we progressed, okay, in consciousness. I would hope so since then. And the reality of things is that doesn't help anybody. How much more beneficial, okay, to teach the person how to do it themselves. And how to do it consistently, not just a one-off experience, but how to do it over and over and never fail. That's how you become a master manifester, by truly picking apart your engine, so to speak, your consciousness, your thoughts, your beliefs, and really taking interest in yourself. I'm so endlessly interested in every single person that comes into my coaching. I call myself a detective of human psyche. It really is fucking interesting to me. I love doing research. I have a journalism degree, okay, like I mentioned many times, and I get off on research so much. And every single session, I re-listen to it, sometimes twice, because I hang on every word you say. And I expect you to have just as much of an interest in yourself, because in your words, even though, sometimes things come up much later as you start talking and you start realizing certain things about yourself that you haven't revisited in such a long time. But the truth starts revealing itself in the conversation, and I know what questions to ask. Okay, I'm just good like that with questions. Again, my degree in journalism really helped. And it's really endlessly interesting to me, the psyche that has produced your results and how to reconstruct it. And so the master manifestor is not necessarily, learning about this technique, that technique. It's about truly understanding the kind of mechanism you have and what resonates with you. Leave the world behind. Don't worry about everybody else, what everybody else is doing, what everybody else is manifesting. What works for you? And quite frankly, having done the research of so many different teachers, etc., I figured out my way. At the end of the day, I had some confirmations as I was doing my research that, oh, I knew this. Yeah, I had a feeling, But, when you're growing up as a child and you have certain like mystical experiences, you could call them, you don't have the words for it. You don't have any explanations for it. So you just kind of like think, well, I guess I'm the weirdo over here and I'll stay quiet about it. But the thing is, I've gotten a lot of confirmations where like, this is how I understand it, and this is the confirmation for me, and this is what works for me. And to me, frankly, the most important thing, as I mentioned in the beginning, is the accuracy of it and the kind of like get to the point already situation. I need to be practical in my explanation, and I needed to have it practical for myself. And I find that a lot of teachers don't focus on that shit, don't literally tell you, okay, this is what you do, this is what you do, this is what you do, this is what this means, this is what this means. We all need practical steps to achieve our results, right? So we can talk about energy all day long, but what does that actually mean? How do I achieve my results? So that's the focus behind all of these situations that you can explore. But again, you need to customize them for your own life, for your own personality, for your own situations that you're working on, etc., etc. You need to find your thing. That's how I would describe it. You need to find that thing that really works for you and milk it for everything that it's got. Okay, I have my own way of coaching. This is why I designed my own coaching program, etc. That's literally infallible. If you really do what I, suggest that you do, it's really just, bulletproof is what it really is. Certain parts I adjust to, certain people. There's certain parts that may not resonate to everybody. And for that, I have, substitute situations, etc., etc. But I have it worked out in a way where, if this doesn't resonate, this will resonate. If this doesn't resonate, this will work. I am full of these suggestions. Essentially, the idea is to explain what I understand in different ways, and however many ways I can explain it until you get it, I will not rest. And so, but essentially, once it clicks in with you, okay, that literally you need to be about yourself. Again, not in a narcissistic way like I always talk about, but really looking at the manifestation through your own prism, through your own understanding. Okay, there's certain things that are literally impossible to explain, like how would you feel if your money that you wanted today would be yours? Go ahead, explain that feeling. Now you might say, okay, I would be really relieved, satisfied, excited. Those are all nice words, but you cannot literally explain to me the feeling that you would feel. And I can almost guarantee, okay, not almost, I can guarantee that the way you feel about the money coming into your life is different from the way I feel about the money. And this is not a competition of any kind or this and that, but it's just we're different people. We feel differently, okay? But you need to come to your own conclusions how it would feel for you through different exercises, like I say, and through allowing yourself to become this person, okay, that has this money, that has this SP bag. Okay, now certain things, again, certain words will make sense. Okay, allow yourself to be there. Go to the parallel reality where everything is already yours, etc., etc. You can talk about things, but essentially what's being honed in on and worked out in coaching is how to explain to this person, okay, what I understand. And that, I think, really requires, a lot of patience and a lot of ways of explaining the same thing because everybody's different, okay? So that's what it really is, because everybody can listen to a certain kind of, like, let's just say audiobook or video and this and that, and everybody can understand it differently. But unless you have a one-on-one interaction with somebody and they can ask questions and back and forth, the dialogue happens, it is my profound opinion that, not a lot will be achieved. And this is why a lot of people spend years on it rather than like focusing for a few months in coaching. Like I said, I'm not even saying it because I happen to be a coach, but this is just, the truth of it. Okay, so much more can be achieved in a few months versus years of wandering around why it's not working for you, specifically for you. Not for this person. How did it work for you? Who gives a shit how it worked for that person? That person isn't you. Okay, you are you. You need to examine why it's not working for you, all those things that you're doing. And like I said, I'm really good at figuring out the answer, but the answer is literally It's placed in deep down in your beliefs, deep down in those reservoirs of emotions, of thoughts, of doubts, and this, that, and the other, ideas that were planted a long time ago, and la la la. And eventually you have the root of the problem. But normally, like, this is the absolute truth. The person gives it to me somewhere on month 2, in the middle of month 2. Okay, it's very rare that I get to it on month 1, even though everything is crystal clear, everybody understands everything, da da da. But the very root, and it will be like such an aha moment where the person goes, oh, now I got it, I found it. Okay, and then themselves, like, really, are in awe and realizing, like, oh, now it clicked, it just clicked with me that this is what I'm struggling with. And again, you can explain it in so many different words, but it just needs to be talked through and explained in several ways until the energetic message gets downloaded. That's the only way I can really explain it. And the fun part, of course, is that once it clicks in, and as it's clicking in, and as you start shifting as a person in coaching, it inevitably happens. Listen, if you're listening to what I have to say, if you're taking my guidance and you're not ignoring it, you will definitely succeed. If it goes like in one ear out the other, I've had those people. I have nothing bad to say about them, but it's like, I've suggested so many different things and they're still not doing them and it's still not working. So what can I do, right? But if you take my guidance and you literally implement those things, you will get there faster, right? Just, I guess, yes, there's supposed to be some level of trust between you and I. If you're respectful, if you show up, eager to work on yourself and make a change, you will achieve a tremendous amount of results in my coaching. Okay. And parenthesis here, I'm under the kind of like the assumption, if you're coming into my coaching, that you know my personality. Okay, it's in my coaching agreement. I'm very direct, very honest. I'll tell you exactly like it is. I'm assuming you don't have time to fucking dilly-dally, and that you're okay with my direct personality. And you want to correct it, not just talk about it till the end of time. I want to hear everything about what has happened thus far. But once we're done talking through it, I want to help you get where you want to get, at where you want to arrive, where you want to live, in your new reality. Okay, so that's my assumption. Now, if that's not your assumption, if you think that this is therapy and we're just here, discussing things, no, I very much expect you to show up and do your part. And like I said, without you doing your part, not a goddamn thing will change. We can just, have conversations, this and that, and I can keep suggesting things. And if you don't do them, well, then, whatever, I don't know. It was nice to meet you kind of deal. But again, once the coaching ends, you're supposed to implement those things into your life, see that they work, continue shifting higher, higher, and higher. And, deliver those results on your own. And, most people have separation anxiety in my coaching when, the date approaches that they're going to be on their own. But, once you get it, you get it. Once you don't need me, you don't need me. You can always come back for like a refresher hour here and there, like for touch-ups, blah, blah, blah. Many people do that. But I want you to go and fly like the bird, right? And so becoming the master manifestor, then taking all of that knowledge that you've accumulated throughout the coaching, throughout getting to know yourself, maybe for the first time in your life, in all honesty, in that capacity, and using that very information to your advantage. Because there's no such thing like, something went wrong and I cannot use it to my advantage. All of it is to your advantage. All of it. I don't care what your situation is right now. All of it could be turned around to your advantage if you really have that perspective. And so really, you learn how to become an alchemist at that, using all sorts of things from your past, even just taking the best and flying with it and making the best of the situation right now, but also allowing yourself to go, higher, to go higher, allowing yourself to change, even though however scary that might be, having the fucking balls, the guts to say, you know what, I've had enough of this fucking bullshit. I want to change. I want to make more money. I want my honey. I want my money. I want my whatever, Rolls Royce or whatever. I don't know, whatever you're manifesting right now. And that's just the end of it. And, this is the best investment that you'll make in yourself. I mean, what else are you doing with life than, other than bettering yourself? If you're not bettering yourself, you're not investing in yourself, in the brighter future for yourself, I don't fucking know what you're doing. Really, I don't. I'm working on myself every single day. It's a must. I have to have something done every single day, several things that progress my life, that better it and elevate it. And that's, may I tell you, this kind of self-improvement is what pays enormous dividends. And I don't mean just money, although it's very nice, obviously. Money galore. I don't care where you are. If you come into my coaching, you will make more money. You will receive more money. You will become a more of a I don't even know how to explain it, what happens. You will have a wider range of understanding who you are, who you really are. Right now, you may be finding yourself in a small little box because that's where you put yourself with your beliefs. Okay, now, most of it is not your fault. It's just, carrying over the beliefs that you've inherited. However, it's in your power very much to change that, to get out of the box and really live that full life that every one of you is capable of. Every single one of you. It's if you take the action towards that. And yes, in the 3D, you need to take action. You can't just continue visualizing. There is some action that you really need to take to demonstrate to the universe that you're serious about the change, that you're serious about being a master manifestor. And coaching is one of them, and making changes to your lifestyle, to your everyday life, etc. Changing things that do not serve you, etc., etc., etc. But doing the same thing year after year after year, and not seeing changes. Listen, however long it takes you, as long as it clicks in, like I said. When it clicks in, there's no unclicking. That's it. It's if you're using that knowledge or not, if you're using your power or not, that's a different story. But once it clicks in, there are no more questions. You really downloaded the knowledge. As long as you get there, some people it takes longer. What can I say? Some people have more to unpack. I mean, that's just the reality of things. However long it takes you, as long as you get there, what works for you, that's what your quest is to figure out, and that's how you become the master manifestor. All the information from me, again, is below. Hopefully this was useful for all of you. Until next time, ciao, ciao.